So, I'm going to be doing a video like this very soon with my good friend Matt Dennian, talking about, like, further steps into the Monsterverse, as well as what we could do. It's kind of a sequel to a video I did earlier in the week talking about, like, where should the Monsterverse go next. And basically in that video I talked a lot about, like, how I would really like to see, you know, new monsters and old versions of the old monsters, old Toho monsters brought back, but I want to see it done not only, like, with thought, but, like, tastefully too. But we'll get but that video I'll be doing with Matt Dennian soon, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about one kaiju in particular I would love to see make his way into the Monsterverse. And it's not the one you expect. It's not the one you really expect to see in here, and that is Megalon. Megalon, out of a lot of monsters in the Toho universe, could easily transition into in my opinion at least, in my solid opinion, into the Monsterverse. I really do think that Megalon could easily be one of the easiest. And the thing is that Megalon does... People know Megalon. Like, people know who Megalon is, and you might be thinking he's not really a worthy villain, but when you think about it, he's one of the he's one of the best-known monsters, because what was one movie... Of all the Godzilla movies, especially in the Showa era, what was one movie that everyone knows about? Like, when you think Godzilla, and why Godzilla had such a long brand of being kind of known for basically being just this weird, dumb like this weird, dumb monster movie, it was Godzilla versus Megalon. So Megalon is a known commodity. He is a known monster. So how do we so this is going to be basically talking about, like, my idea and how I would bring in Megalon into the Monsterverse. So let's get started. So my idea for Megalon would actually involve very much involve the Seatopians. In this story, like in this idea, more or less the Seatopians would probably not even be called Seatopians. I'd give them a different name, but they would be known, like, as, like, Bernie. If we brought the Brian Tyree Hill's character Bernie back, one of the names, like, they'd be called the Seatopians. But really, they would be, like, probably something close to, like, the Kingdom of the... If you know your conspiracy theory, and it's you know, it's this dumb thing about, you know, this kingdom called Mu, which was this giant continent that fell into the ground. So that's where we get Lumerians. So they would actually be, like, called Lumerians. Yeah, Lumeria, excuse me. Yeah, Lumeria was kind of like Atlantis before Atlantis. So these Lumerians would become the Seatopians. But what they actually would be is another tribe of Iwi people. Basically in here is that in this story, the Iwi have been known to, like, they worship the Kong and Mothra, and they all lived in harmony, except one tribe during the Age of Titans became dissatisfied with the way things were going, and seeing the Iwi people slowly being driven to extinction by outside forces. So this other group, so this tribe of Iwi became warlike and, you know, turned away from Mothra and the Great Apes. And what happened next is that they found another god. They discovered a god who had long since been buried, and that god was Megalon. So in here, I would have it that this Iwi tribe found Megalon and you know, turned away from Mothra and became worshippers of Megalon, and through Megalon they declared war on mankind, and this led to them doing battle with God, you know, having a monster that could be on par with the strength of God's, you know, on the same level of Godzilla. But I would have in here that Mothra and Godzilla teamed up to defeat Megalon ages ago. I'd also throw in just this fun little thing of, like, other Iwi tribes outside of, like, the ones from Skull Island and Hollow Earth. There were other multiple tribes and variations of the Iwi people, and they had different gods as well. Remember, the Titans were known as the first gods in the Monsterverse, so it would stand to reason that some of the first people in the world of this universe would probably worship them, them as other deities. So, like, I would have, like, a quick reference if this was, like, told through stone tablets or hieroglyphs. I'd have an image of King Caesar as like reference the Iwi as they were the Izumi tribe from Japan, and they worshipped King Caesar. I'd have another who worshipped like have little hieroglyphs of like reference cameo Easter eggs to other monsters. Like I said, one would be King Caesar, one would be like Monda, one would be another would be like Baragon. All these other and even throw in some Monsterverse ones like Behemoth, Tiamat, all those others. But Megalon in here, how would I do Megalon? Like, how would I make Megalon in this series? Megalon in here would be much more robust. He'd be a bigger build. He wouldn't be hopping, but definitely he'd have he'd have more of a Hercules beetle look, as opposed to like the cockroach look. He would have more of a Hercules beetle, like bigger, bulkier. Definitely, like, he could take a lot of like this Megalon could take a lot of damage from Godzilla's atomic breath. This Megalon would also still have the drill hands, and he'd be able he'd be big and bulky, and like, you know, Godzilla's become more agile and more lighter in the Monsterverse now. This Megalon is like, I can take a beating. I can take a serious beating and still come at you. Like, that's how I kind of imagine Megalon in this universe. I'd still have him like, he's kind of slow on land, but underground he is unstoppable. He is just capable of moving, kind of like how he moved like how fast he moved in the Godzilla fighting games, like Save the Earth and Melee, where you could just duck underground and stay underground, annoying your enemies till you got right under their feet. You know, cheap move, but it worked, right? I would still have Megalon's energy beam, but it wouldn't be yellow. I would actually change it to like maybe, I don't know, change it to like blue, just so it would have a little just differentiate from Ghidorah's gravity beams, which again, that's why they made it yellow, was so they could, you know, when they're doing the attack scenes in the city, they could just recycle footage from Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster. So I would give him a little more difference. I wouldn't make him as dumb either. I don't think I'd make Megalon as dumb as he was before. I wouldn't make him like super smart, but he wouldn't be like a thundering idiot either. So yeah, that's kind of how I would bring in Megalon into the Monsterverse. But you guys tell me in the comments below, how would you bring in Megalon into the Monsterverse? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, I know this isn't a lot for a video, but like, I thought it'd be kind of fun and talk about it. And like I said, I'll be doing a video very shortly with my friend Matt Denian, and we'll be talking all about that. So if you want to hear our thoughts on like how to bring like new ideas for new monsters, new ideas, as well as how to bring in other Toho monsters, yeah, just stay tuned. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.